Hey guys, welcome back to Arak 4D. So today we are looking at my favorite RC car. This is my Traxxas Stampede 2-wheel drive. I get it from Shopee as a second-hand car. So it just cost me 400 ringgit a few years ago. Alright, start from the front. We have all original parts here except for the suspension. This is the suspension I get from my previous shopper's truck. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it. It's the naming of the brand is Auto RC. I think it's made from Taiwan or China, but yeah, it fits just well. And all the parts here is a bit Frankenstein because I get some part from my other car and then just to fix it. So yeah, right here is my 120A hobby wing SC8 waterproof ESC. And inside the receiver box, there is the original TQ transmitter receiver from Traxxas, which is still original. And right here, I have the Leopard motor. This is, if I'm not wrong, the sizing is 3660. So that's all the electronic about my car. And the tires are also stocks. The body of it, I believe that it's come from a 4x4 Stampede, where I'm not sure why, but the previous owner sold it together with me. Okay, so I believe that most of you guys already heard of this RC. This is Traxxas Stampede 2-wheel drive, and the reason I buy it is because this is the most iconic rear-wheel drive monster truck you can get from the market, and it is highly related to other three kind of model, which is the Slash 2-wheel drive, which is short construct, and the Bandit 2-wheel drive. Bandit is a buggy, and also the Truggy. I think the Truggy is called Rustler. Yeah, Rustler. So which means that if you are bored of this layout, you can change the chassis and some of the steering mechanism to try different handling. Maybe they're having a lower center gravity, maybe they are wider, or maybe you want to try Slash, which have a longer wheelbase. The handling will be a bit different. So yeah, let's see how it performs in the beach and in the MTB track. Hi guys, I'm at a bike track with my Stampede 2WD drive. Let's see what can I do. Well, turns out it doesn't do well in an MTB track. I think it's mostly because of the terrain. So the track is built out from very loose kind of dirt or sand, and these tires are the original tires cut from Stampede. They are just not that grippy. You can see that their pattern is very shallow, and yeah. Besides, it's also a rear-wheel drive vehicle, so when you're hitting the throttle, the front end just want to raise out. Part of it, because of the center gravity of it, is mostly at the back, and the motor is even at the rear of the rear axle, so it doesn't help at all. And yeah, the handling doesn't really suitable for the bike track, and you can't really steer well. It's even hard to maintain a straight line, so yeah, doing all those jumps and stunts is a nightmare. So right now we are at the BMX pump track. Hopefully can handle the tarmac better than the loose dirt. So let's see how it goes. Right. It feels like a whole different vehicle once you get the traction. Jumps really well. Right, I think it's better to stand here that I can get a view of the full track.
Nice. Oop. They hit a rock. Ah. Oop. Doesn't sound good.
Alright, so we have back from the bash and everything looks fine. At least for the structural part, everything is still intact. But there's a problems here. My rear wheel is clogged up now. So if I flip it upside down, you can see that the differential behind here is still working fine. Okay. But when you push it, two wheels together is clogged up. So my guessing is that either our spur gear is burnt or our pinion gear have missing teeth, or the worst case scenario is that my motor is overhead and it clogged up from the internal, which means that we have no choice but to change our electronics. Yeah, so let's find out. You know, one of the best thing of this vehicle is that it is just super simple. So imagine you have a four-wheel drive vehicle. You have so much more additional parts. Let's say a front differential, and some of the four-wheel drive you can have a center differential, and then of course you have the drive shaft. Everything adds up. So yeah, I think if you are trying to get in this hobby with a budget, two-wheel drive will be your best pick. But it does reflect on the handling of it. So it doesn't handle as good as a four-wheel drive, but it has that kind of unique style that I'm hooked in, and I really love this RC. The good news is that our gear are all still intact. So yeah, which means that it's a worst scenario. Our motor is burned or clogged up inside. So yeah, let me disassemble it and see what happens inside. Guys, think I found the problems. So if you are looking at the mesh of the gear, you see that right now the gear mesh is very loose. I mean, the distance between two gears at the contact patch here is very loose here. As I turn the gear, it becomes looser right now. But at some point, it's very close. So the mesh is keep changing, which I think that it indicates it's either our gear are warping or like bending, which most likely not going to happen, or is our motor shaft that is bending. So yeah, I think I have to change the motor. But before that, let me just open up everything and see what's the real issue behind it. So right now the motor is out, and yeah, somehow the motor is turning very smooth, and the shaft is not bent, at least from what I can see. So the problem might be the pinion or the spur gear is loose, and yeah, so both of the gear is not matching parallelly, which is something like that. They just grind together. If I'm right, I can just apply it back in again and adjust the mesh again, do all the setting again. It might be just fine and nothing actually is damaged. So let's see. Alright, so right here is a life hack for those who want to set up their gear mesh between the spur and the pinion gear. There's a hex here, which is, see, there's two screws here, right? So what you can do is that you tighten one of them. You don't want it to be too tight, you still want some play on it, and then you release the second one. So by this way you can slide the bolt to control the mesh, right? And yeah, the hack here is that you can just take a random A4 paper, right? You just need a small piece of it. You can shove it between them. Shove it here, okay, and you push the gear. So now you can tighten it. Okay. So this is the simplest way I personally found, and yeah, it keeps a consistency every time you do it. So let us see. And it is looking quite smooth right now, but I'm going to check the mesh here. Okay, so you want a little bit of play between the gears. You can see that if I'm moving the bigger gears, it's knocking at the smaller gears, which is actually good in RC, because if you have no play at all, it will create a huge amount of friction force, and it will cause your gear to be burned. Our mesh is perfect right now. Okay, and I'm going to attach back the wheels here. Yeah, see if it turns freely. Alright, so you can see now the gear is turning freely, everything is good. My conclusion is that there's no shaft bending, there's no gear damage. I think it's just that because I forgot to put a Loctite in my motor gear bolts right here. That's why the bolt is a little bit misaligned, which create the weird noise and the stopping power. Yeah, so right now everything is good. I will put the covers back, and yeah, let's sum up for this vehicle. The way it drives is special, and the fact that it is from Traxxas, which is another benefit. So for those who don't know Traxxas, or who don't know RC, Traxxas is like Apple in the world of mobile phone. So it is a big brand. It could be overpriced, it could have the branding effect, but the good point is that this vehicle has been out to the market for who knows, 10 more years, 20 years, I think around 20 years. So the parts availability, or the spare parts, or the let's say the A-arms, the bumper, the chassis, and the CV, the gears, everything you can easily find on Shopee, Lazada, eBay, Taobao, you name it. For those who want a cheap, easy to maintain, fun to drive, but not so powerful, which you can play on 2S battery. 2S battery is 7.4 volt battery, which is I would say the beginner battery in RC world. This is the perfect vehicle for you. Alright, that's it for the Traxxas Stampede right now. So for this vehicle, I will make a new body for it, the body shell, because you can see that the original one is cracking everywhere. So I will do a new body for it, and maybe I will upgrade the tires to have a better grip in the loose terrain, like what we did in the MTB trips. Yeah, so stay tuned for more updates for this vehicle. And by the meantime, I will update some other RC cars also. So stay tuned. There will be a rally RC car, there will be a rock crawler RC car, and many more, even short course truck. Alright, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.